today's project is a lovely little mini album. I'm using products available from the Artful Days store, and we're going to have a complete walkthrough along with the measurements, everything that you need to know how to create this lovely little booklet. Inside the book there are pockets with little pull-out inserts, and I can't wait to show you how I created it. So let's get everything ready and we'll make a start. These are some of the beautiful things that you can buy from the Artful Days shop online. I'll put the link to the website in the description below. Some of you may remember the unboxing videos I did for the company last year, and sadly at the end of the year they decided not to do the monthly goodie boxes anymore, but the good news is the shop's still open. There are plenty of lovely products in there. Julie the owner has just put lots more charms and texture elements into the shop, and some of these are brand new this year, and I'm going to be making this project today using a lot of products from them and a few bits and pieces from my stash, basic cardstock and adhesives that I've got, and I've got a couple of stickers that I think I'm going to put in just to embellish right at the very end. This paper here is beautiful. This is from Seven Dots Studio, and it's sort of a typography themed paper. They're all double-sided. I'm going to be using some of those today. They're available at the moment in the extras section of the website. There's a whole range of scrapinyak chipboards, different designs, words, pictures, patterns. I like this little word here, capture the moment. That's going to go on my project today. There's a selection of different washi tapes. This one's got some vintage ink bottles, that's typewriters. I thought would go well with these papers I'm using. The treasure trove section of the website is where you'll find lots of charms and embellishments, and these little pen nibs are beautiful, nice detail in there. I also liked these little brass barcode embellishments. I think I'm going to put one of these on my project today. And there are some hand-cast resin embellishments. These are really nice when they're decorated. Last year I did a project and there was a beautiful stag in the November box, and I added gilding wax to that and made it look like a bronze. It was really effective. I'm going to do something similar here. I'll pop the link to the unboxing for the November box up here. I believe there are one or two still available in the shop. If you are quick, have a little look. If you want to watch my video and see what was in there and you like what you see, get in there and get one. They were great value. So the project today is a little mini album. It's going to have pockets decorated with little pull-out tabs, and it's really straightforward to make. You're going to need a guillotine or a pair of scissors and a ruler, and a scoreboard if you've got one, and other than that, really simple. And our pockets and will be cut from, I'm using some craft card here. This is from my stash. I just like it. I think it'll go well with these papers and the tones in the papers. And each pocket is made from a piece of card 7 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And we're in 6 pockets, so you want to cut 6 of those. And when you've cut them, you're going to get the scoreboard, and we're going to score them 1/2 inch in from one end, and then 3/4 inch from that end, and 1/2 inch up from the bottom. So I'm going to get my scoreboard and I'm going to score 6 of those. I'm using a hoogie board today. I like it. It's straightforward to use, but any that's got the appropriate markings on will do. There's lots on the market. And we're going to score all 6 pockets in this way, and then you'll have a pile like this. The next thing to do is to trim the tabs, so we don't need any excess on there. quite simple with a pair of scissors, and then take this bit off along that bottom edge there. So that's the shape that you're left with. So we've got our two little tabs to fold up like so, and then we fold that over and we'll glue that in place. And I'll come back when I've done that on all 6 of them. Right, I've stuck together my little pockets, stuck the tabs together, and just to make it easier to get the inserts out, I've cut a little notch out of each one. Now I used a little circle cutting die, just put it half on the edge, put it through my die cutting machine and cut that out. If you don't have a die cutting machine, you could use a little circle punch and slot it just halfway onto the edge of your piece of card and punch it out, or indeed use a pair of scissors. If you can't cut the curve, cut a little V-shaped notch. Anything just makes it easier to grab what we're going to put inside these pockets afterwards. The next thing we're going to make is the strip that binds the pockets together, and for this I'm using a piece of patterned paper from my stash. I've tried it with the craft card, and although it does work, I feel it's a little bit too bulky, so some paper is a lot better. Bit of plain paper. This pattern paper I figured coordinated quite well, and we want a strip that's 11 inches long by 3 inches wide. And then what we do is we're going to put it on our scoreboard, and we're going to score it at inch intervals all the way along to the end, so that we can do an accordion fold and pleat it all up. And this is what we're going to attach our pages to. Before we do that, I'm going to add a little bit of pattern paper to the pockets that we've made, because I think it's easier to do that before the book starts getting assembled. So I'll just move this out of the way. And we're going to decide which of these papers I want to use. Now bear in mind these are double-sided. It's always difficult to make a choice. I quite like the ones that have got more of a grey tone to them. So let's go with a couple of these. Now, because our pockets are 3 inches, 3¼ inches square, I can cut these into 3-inch squares using my guillotine quite easily. And then they should fit. Now, one thing you want to decide when you put these on here is whether you want to do this and then take out this little notch, or whether you want to cut the card a little bit smaller and leave that. I quite like that effect, leaving that little bit blank. So in that case, I think I'm going to trim this paper down to 2½. So 2½ inches by 3 inches. Fits perfectly like that. So now we've covered our little pockets on both sides. They're looking really good. I just want to edge around the pockets with a bit of distressing, and just gives it a little bit more definition, and I quite like that. So I'm using hickory smoke today. It's a nice grey, it's not quite so harsh as the black. But it just adds a little something. So we're going to go around the edges on both sides of all the pockets with a foam applicator, a bit of blending foam if you've got it, If you don't have these applicators, I just prefer these because I tend to make a right mess with the foam in my fingers. I get it all over me. But as you can see, it just, I don't know, just adds a little bit of something. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of these, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Right, we've inked around the edges of all of these, and I've got my binding strip here ready to go. And what I'm going to do is apply glue to every other side in order to stick our pocket pages to it. So we've got 6 pockets, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides that are going to have glue on. Use glue, you can use strong double-sided tape. For this, I think glue is a little bit stronger, and it dries. The trouble with double-sided tape sometimes is if you have a little bit of the edge of the tape showing, it stays sticky and then things start catching. So we're going to stick that so that we can fold that. Just press it down. And I'm going to put some glue on this one. The glue I'm using is actually the Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue. I just decant it into these bottles with a very fine nib. Find it easy to apply. It dries quickly, which is what I really like. And you find you don't actually need a huge amount, so it doesn't all go everywhere, it doesn't ooze out everywhere. And as you're doing this, make sure that your pages are nice and squarely lined up. Finish with the last one on this top section. And our page is open nicely there. The next thing we need to make will be the cover, and then we can go on to attach this to the cover and then make our inserts for the pages. And for the cover, piece of craft card, 7.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and then we're going to take our scoreboard and score it 3.25 inches in from each side, and that leaves a 1 inch spine down the middle. And this is what we end up with. We've got plenty of room. Obviously, if you've used card rather than paper for your binding strip, you may find you want a slightly wider spine on it, in which case just adjust the length of your piece of card accordingly so that you've got a spine the right width. And we're going to decorate the inside and outside of our cover, and we're going to at the same time put a little bit of ribbon in, and then we can tie it and close it when it's finished. So I'll just gather those things together, be right back. So I've cut some patterned papers to fit the inside and outside of my covers. Basically, whatever your measurements are, because obviously you may have a different size spine, just make these slightly smaller so that they mat on quite nicely. In my instance, these are 3 by 3.25 inches, and my spine piece is 3¼ inches by 3/4 of an inch. So just make it 1/4 inch smaller than the actual cover itself. So I've got some paper for the outside. I've also cut the same for cover the inside as well. And I've got some seam binding ribbon, which is what I'm going to use for my fasten. I like this, it's quite thin, it's flat, it's not too bulky. You can colour this with inks if you want to. I'm going to leave this cream because it matches as it is, and it just saves me having to ink it, squinch it all up, wait for it to dry. I can just get on with this. So I'm going to attach my inner and outer covers and attach the ribbon as well. And the ribbon is going to be put on the outside before you put your cover on. And for this instance, I'm going to use just a bit of double-sided tape because I think trying to squish this on with some glue is going to be a bit messy. So just by eye, a piece of tape halfway down the cover, take the backing off, find the centre of my ribbon, and just press that in place. I've left myself about 6 inches on either side, so I've got enough to tie. And now I'm going to go in with the glue and apply the pattern paper that I've cut to fit. So I'm going to do this for the outside, and then I'm going to stick my other pieces on the inside, and I'll come back to you then. So here's my cover, covered on the outside, the inside, just so that it matches in with the pockets. I'm going to go around the edge with my distress ink again, but this is purely optional. You don't have to do this. Don't think that you need all these different products. There is always easy ways of doing this. You could use a marker pen, you could draw a little fake stitched line around the edge with a fine liner pen. You know, we're all very tempted to rush out and buy all these different products thinking that we need them, but you know, you don't need them all at once. So slowly build your collection over the years. You don't need to do it immediately, but I do use up my distress inks an awful lot, and I'm sure if you do try them out, you'll find that you use them a lot too. Right, so now we've got our cover, we've got our little insert pages. Right, we're going to attach this back pocket directly to the back cover. So I'm going to get the glue, now if you wanted this back page to go freely, you would need another fold of card or paper on your spine. If you're using a 12-inch piece of scrapbooking paper, you would probably have an extra bit. This piece of paper that I used was cut from an A4 piece, so 11 inches was as long as it was. But I'm quite happy for my back page to be stuck directly down. So lining it up in the book, just making sure it will close properly. And press it down. And that way your pages will flip over, and then you'll come to your end one. The reason that this is loose as well gives that extra flexibility. So that's the actual main body of our book, and what we're going to do now is make some little inserts to go in the pockets, and also we're going to decorate the outside cover. Now for the outside cover, I'm going to use some of these items. I like this chipboard wood. So carefully just pop it out from the background. They're quite fragile. Now you can leave it blank. You can colour these. Again, I think this works quite well, the colour that it is. I don't feel that I really need to do anything with it. So I'm just going to glue that in place as it is. But you could heat emboss, you could ink it, you could glitter these. That's where these fine nibs come in really handy for the glue. Apply just what I need, where I need it. Press that down carefully. I really like these little metal barcodes. They come in a pack of 2. You see detail on those. Now you can touch these with brads obviously, but to be fair, I just want to put it on, I think, with some glue. I don't want brads going through my book. I don't know where to put it on the spine. I don't want to cover this little bit of text up that's here. So maybe just put it at the top though. But this glue should do it. You could always use an all-purpose glue like a Yoo-hoo. There are specific metal glues, but to be fair, I don't really like them. Just press that down. Just give it time to grab. I think that is going to hold that. That's good. I'm going to use this resin shape as well. I do like these, and to make it look a little bit more aged, I'm going to use some gilding waxes. Trying to decide the best colours to use. Just like apply these with your fingers. Slightly paler colour here. go and clean this off my fingers and I'll be right back. I quite like that, but it's a little bit bright, so I've got some slate alcohol ink here. I'm hoping that if I just drop a bit of that in, it might just dull it down a little bit. Just use a little bit of felt just to move that about a little bit. I think that's better. It's giving it a little bit of patina, just tones it in better with what we've been doing here. So again, these have got a smooth back on them. Should be able to just attach it with some of my glue. Just press that into place. Now, I'm going to put a pen nib on as well. I think that might go on the spine, but I want to allow that just to dry and allow the alcohol ink to dry without getting it everywhere. So we're going to go on, put that to one side, get on with making the inserts. For the inserts for our pockets, we're going to cut 6 squares of craft card, 3 inches square. Really straightforward. Here are mine. And onto that, we could mat pattern papers, we could mat some plain paper, you could put little photographs on there. I'm going to use some of this washi tape. I really like this washi tape and I think it fits the theme quite well. The sort of vintage images that's on here. Don't like to waste any. But what I'm going to do is put it along the bottom and I'm going to put it on both sides. So rather than cut it, I'm going to just wrap it around. And then just trim it. I'm going to do that for all of my pieces and then I'll come back and we'll finish embellishing and hopefully the cover will be dry and we can finish embellishing that too. Right, so I have added the washi tape to all of my pages and I've gone around the edge with the ink to match in like I did before. My embellishments are finally dry on here, so I have glued 2 of the pen nibs onto the spine. I just think they give it a nice finishing touch. And all that remains really now is for you to decide what you're going to put on your pocket pages. I've gone through my stash. I've got a few odds and ends that I thought might be good. I don't want anything too bulky because it's got to slide in and out of the pockets. I have some of the Tim Holtz paper dolls. I've also got some of the Tim Holtz stickers. So here we have our finished album. We've got that beautiful chipboard and that resin embellishment on the front. Some metal pen nibs on the spine and that gorgeous textured metal barcode on the back. All decorated with these beautiful 7 Dot Studio papers. All of those items available from the Artful Days store. Please do check out the link. There's some lovely things in there and they're adding to it all the time. And inside our little album pockets we have some embellished pages. Perfect for some photographs or a little bit of journaling. Beautiful size, nice gift for somebody. You can, if you want to, pull out all the pages like that. or indeed just fold it back up, fasten them back up with the little bow. Thanks for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe. I can't believe that in the last couple of weeks I've gained another 100 subscribers, so big thanks to all of you who are watching and enjoying what I'm doing, and I shall see you again soon. Thank you, bye.